welcome back to the cafe. My name is Ryan, and I'm here with your co-host,
Yuki. 皆さんこんにちは. I am so grateful to be your co-host and filling in some big shoes with Kelly, headed to the Big Apple. You've tuned into episode 9 of the Nichi Bei Cafe, a mixed plate of Japanese American news and culture. This month features a topic that is very personal to all of us, health and wellness.
This monthly live stream program is brought to you by the Nichi Bei Foundation and Nichi Bei Weekly through the benevolence of the Henry and Tomoe Takahashi Charitable Foundation.
If you enjoy what we are doing here at the cafe, please be sure to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button for more content just like this.
Also, feel free to leave us a comment if you have any suggestions for future episodes or just want to say hi.
We would also like to thank the many people who attended the Nichi Bei pilgrimage to Angel Island on October 1st. We had close to 300 people in attendance from all around, but more on that later. In this episode, we are focusing on health and wellness in our Nikkei community.
For our show today, we will be featuring a recap of the Nikkei pilgrimage to Angel Island, where Yuki and I personally attended. Our main course features a story of a Japanese-American doctor with a history of developing health-related inventions and treatments. We will also continue to report on our Genki Aging series, which highlights senior services within the Nikkei community, including a story about Sacramento's ACC health services.
After that, we will run our regular segments of Just One Cookbooks, Namiko Chen's recipe on Kabocha pork stir-fry, Linda Mihara's Daikon origami, and the Gochiso Gourmet, Ryan Tatsumoto's Lychee-lani. So without further delay, let's start the cafe.
For the appetizer tonight, we can start whetting our appetite for our main course with a recap of our 5th Nikkei Angel Island pilgrimage. Our producer, Greg Valoria, summarizes the event, which brought together people from as far as London and Washington State to honor our immigrant pioneers.
And I'm a reporter with KTVU, Fox 2 News over in Oakland, and I have been a long-time fan of the Nichi Bei Foundation, of the Nichi Bei Weekly, and the Nichi Bei newspaper. My first time being on this Angel Island pilgrimage. How many other people are here for the first time? Can you raise your hand? Look at this! This is great! Welcome! This is very personal for me as well. My grandfather, Grandpa Katsuyama, actually came through Angel Island when he immigrated to the United States at the age of 14. And I remember when I was a child and we would ask him about that, and he would tell us stories about coming through Angel Island.
So we don't always recognize this harmony that is surrounding us. It could be the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the people we love, and all of these things are recognizable aspects of this harmony. And so this is what the Sambujo signifies.
It's unusual to have a site like the immigration station, the former immigration station, because it was in such danger of being destroyed.
referred to as the Ellis Island of the West, for people in pursuit of their immigrant dreams. But unlike Ellis Island, which was there to welcome immigrants, mostly from Europe, Angel Island was pretty much used to exclude immigrants, mostly from Asia. So we launched this pilgrimage in 2014 to get the community reconnected to that legacy on this island. Today we are here to honor our beloved, if not forgotten, Issei, who weathered the seas across the ocean and weathered storms of racism and discrimination in their adopted country. Today we are here to reclaim our connection to this island and to reclaim our own family legacies. In the process of honoring our immigrant ancestors, we honor the legacy of immigration in this country, which far too often bears witness to scapegoating, prejudice, and racism.
I'm doing something for the Japanese American, audience here, because usually we're sponsored by a Hakujin festival kind of thing.
So we never get to see each other. So we get to see, we've been performing with Yumi and Janet and PJ and Roy for decades, but we never get to be in the same time at the same time. It's so fun.
So thank you, everybody.
And then they realized they not only needed the sun, they loved her. Love, that always does the trick.
We are going to have a little bit of a bon odori.
Aging like a, aging like a, aging like a, aging like a, like a, aging like a, hey, azore, aging like a, hey, azore, yoisho, aging like a, hey, azore, aging like a, hey, azore, yoisho, ja, nai, ka, oh.
Thank you to Greg and Max Nihei for the great camera work. Great day, and glad we brought this pilgrimage back after 3 years of dormancy.
Most definitely. And if you all enjoyed yourselves at Angel Island, look forward to and stay tuned for our pilgrimage to the former Wakamatsu Tea and Silk Farm Colony in October of 2023.
For our salad segment tonight, our writer and videographer, Akira Olivia Kumamoto, recaps the Irei ceremony held at the end of September, where people gathered to honor the book of 125,000 incarcerees of the people of Japanese ancestry during World War II.
The public unveiling of and the procession for the Irei took place on September 24th, 2022 at the Japanese American National Museum before it opened to the public the next day. The Irei is a sacred book containing the names of over 125,000 imprisoned persons of Japanese ancestry during the war. The book is the first part of the Irei, National Monument for the World War II Japanese American Incarceration, a project meant to combat the erasure of those incarcerated during World War II.
I think our effort to try to do this project of making sure nobody's left out and also not misspelled or inaccuracies of a names list, I think was important in the sense that back in World War II, a whole community, was targeted and then rounded up and put in these and kind of excised from the American landscape in a way that was a little bit different than how German nationals and Italian nationals also were picked up, but treated as individuals. Each person given a parole hearing. So the difference was we had little babies and infirm grandmothers and U.S. citizens, and it didn't matter as long as you had a drop of Japanese blood, you were kind of taken out from 9066.
According to Williams, the names of many incarcerated people were not documented accurately. He and a team of researchers made an effort to record every name in the Irei without spelling errors. The massive book contains the first comprehensive list of every person who was imprisoned in the camps, from the oldest camper admitted to the last baby born before the sites closed. As the book sits on display at the Japanese American Museum, the public will be asked to use a hanko, a special Japanese stamp, to mark next to one of the names as a way to honor those imprisoned. During the September 24th ceremony, dozens of formerly incarcerated people and loved ones of the incarcerated marched in formation out of the Go for Broke National Education Center and into the Japanese American National Museum. Multiple marchers held up fence panels, each donning the name of one of the 75 American incarceration camps that imprisoned Japanese Americans during World War II. Each panel was attached to a small container of soil from each site. Along with representatives from each camp who traveled from all around the U.S., multiple faith leaders and cultural leaders showed up in the spirit of allyship to celebrate the project. Buddhist monks chanted as each representative witnessed the book and placed their panels in a long row, memorializing each camp. Some of the oldest living camp survivors were present and bore witness to the book, as well as stamped next to their own names. Many representatives and their loved ones held photos of their family members and friends who had passed. Viewers shed silent tears as they beheld the thousands of names etched into the monument. Community elders were the first invited to mark the book with the hanko, followed by all of the older representatives present prior to public access.
Racial karma in America that we need to attend to and repair and heal, and that these fractures in our nation's past need us collectively to do something. It can't just be one group or one, and we need everybody to participate in acknowledging and honoring this history. And we do this, in this case, by honoring names, of giving individuals that were kind of merged together as this kind of amorphous threat to national security, and they weren't given their personhoods. And I think the idea of giving their names prominence in this way is a way to repair that history.
Thanks, Akira, for that report. Interesting remembrance to the people of Japanese ancestry incarcerated during World War II. Our first main course segment is from our producer, Greg Valoria, on Dr. Ken Matsumura, a Japanese-American doctor who has been innovating the health industry for more than 50 years.
As the people of this world start to age well into their 80s, healthy aging has become the focus in the world medical community. And with that, the fight against the top causes of death like cancer and other diseases that challenge the ability to age healthily are the front lines. We interview Dr. Kenneth Naoyuki Matsumura, a San Francisco East Bay Japanese-American family physician and researcher, bucking medical challenges starting as a Berkeley High School student. Born in Thailand to a Japanese national father and Nisei mother at the end of World War II, Dr. Matsumura's family was able to come back to war-torn Japan, where the mother eventually felt that she wanted to repatriate themselves as American citizens and return to the U.S. for a better life.
I spent 10 years of my early life in Japan as a regular Japanese student, but I came to the United States in order to maintain our American citizenship. My mother is an American, Japanese-American Nisei from Alameda, born in Oakland. And so we came here to establish our citizenship, but we liked it so much, we ended up staying here.
Coming to the U.S. at the age of 10, Dr. Matsumura found in high school the path that led him to medical research.
While I was already in high school, I was starting to be very interested in medical research. I had this notion that I was going to be a Thomas Edison in medicine, you know. I said, well, he was all in electricity, and I said, there's nothing more to do in electricity. Well, how wrong I was in that, huh?
Interestingly, Dr. Matsumura, instead of following a pure research career, he dedicated himself to public health for 45 years.
You know, when I graduated from UCSF in 1970, I wanted to do some, you know, I wasn't heavily in research. Of course, I spent most of my time doing that, but I wanted to do some additional work in actual clinical medicine, treating patients. And there's this poverty-stricken community in West Oakland. And they had just started a few years before a community health center, because at that time, if you were poor and you got sick, you went to the county hospital, you took a number at 7 in the morning, and then if they didn't see you by 4, they tell you to go home and come back again.
Over the years, Dr. Matsumura's research led him to many what he calls accidental discoveries. Some he still wants to bring to light, and some he is prioritizing today.
But I ended up accidentally developing the artificial liver, bio-artificial liver, which at that time they said you can't make an artificial liver because it's an organ that we don't even understand what it's doing yet, and so how can you make an artificial liver? Well, I decided to combine some live liver cells inside a dialysis type apparatus. That's an artificial kidney. So you dialyze a diseased blood against a suspension of liver cells. But anyway, the same concept applies to bioartificial pancreas, whereby you have diabetic patients getting better with pancreatic islet cells inside a device. And my device got selected to be on the space shuttle. Unfortunately, the Challenger happened, but that unfortunately ended that idea.
One of his tireless focuses in the last 20 years has been developing a side effect-free treatment for cancer.
Well, the problem with cancer, of course, is that the treatment is worse than the disease. Almost everybody knows that. And so because the current chemotherapy, well, it goes into the body and it kills anything dividing in the body. But by 1980s, I came to the conclusion that because even in a tumor, there's so many different kinds of cancer cells, if you aim it against one kind and you miss the others, that approach wasn't going to work. And then one day, just out of the blue, I wasn't thinking of another approach, it occurred to me that poisons have antidotes. Instead of aiming the cancer drug against cancer cells, why don't we aim the antidote to the normal dividing cells which are affected by the cancer drugs? Then when the cancer drugs actually go into the normal dividing cells, they're not affected because the antidote is there protecting those cells. So then if you don't protect the cancer cells, they will die, just like they should die. And so SEF, SAFE, stands for side effect free. I ended up creating a side effect free chemotherapy approach.
Foreshadowed by his discoveries, there lies the social justice aspect to his work that he holds dearly, and it's at the core of his medical work.
Yeah, actually in 1963, I went into Berkeley as a Republican. Can you believe it? My family had been relatively wealthy in Japan, but after Berkeley, we had this free speech movement, and I saw how wrong it was, how students and people with less power had no say in anything. And I became more and more liberal. And by 1964, I felt like, hey, I'm coming up with all kinds of these medical inventions. I may indeed be a Thomas Edison in medicine, but I said to myself, if I make any money, I'm going to spend most of the money trying to equalize the rich and the poor. And that's still exactly my philosophy today. My therapy has potential for a lot of money, but it's not for me. It's really hopefully to right the wrong.
We wish Dr. Matsumura a continued journey towards being the Thomas Edison of medicine. This is Greg Gloria for Derek Tahara for the Nichi Bei Cafe.
In our next segment, we feature another installment of our Genki Aging series with Sacramento's ACC Senior Services, leading the greater Sacramento area in senior services and celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. Please enjoy.
As part of our Genki Aging series, our goal is to empower the fastest growing segments of the Japanese American community, its seniors. We hope to accomplish this by bringing awareness to our community of local senior services. In this segment, Nichi Bei Weekly writer Tomo Hirai and I traveled to Sacramento, California to visit ACC Senior Services, celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. Tomo Hirai sat down with Jin Shimamoto, interim CEO and chair of the board of ACC Senior Services.
Well, 50 years ago, we were incorporated, and then we built our nursing home that opened on donated land from a big developer here in Sacramento. That was huge. And then as we've expanded our programs, continued to serve the seniors, we offered adult daycare. We've expanded into assisted living memory care, and then expanded our rides program, where we serve seniors and they're able to get to doctor's appointments, medical appointments, dialysis.
Jin Shimamoto shares some of the changes she has seen during her involvement at ACC through the pandemic to today.
It's expanded. We went from skilled nursing to assisted living, and that's been a huge progress for us, and we've expanded services to the seniors. We offer a lot of online programs because during the pandemic we had to pivot because we weren't doing anything in person. So we've developed this great online program to keep seniors active and not isolated, and they've really been drawn to that.
Keeping up with the needs of seniors in today's world requires adapting programs and services. Tomo talks with Jerry Shikuma, administrator for ACC home and community-based programs, on the breadth of their programs.
We have a variety of programs. We have a rides transportation program that offers free transportation to seniors and their caregivers to do, so that they can do things like get out to the doctors, go to grocery shopping, or to congregate meal sites, or just any kind of personal errands. We have a caregiver support program that offers caregiver support to family caregivers. So people, it could be taking care of either a family member or maybe a friend or even just a neighbor, but someone in their circle that they're helping to support. We have a lifelong learning and wellness program, and that helps seniors to get out and get active and healthy, get connected with others in the community through classes and presentations, workshops, things like that. We have a senior employment program, and that's a program that helps low-income seniors with some barriers to employment to get job training so they can re-enter the workforce. We have a utility assistance program that helps not only seniors but people with low English proficiency learn about their utility bills and how to bring down the costs.
With ACC's history of standing up for the underrepresented Asian groups, ACC's Danny Lee talks about the newly formed Senior Escort Program during the wake of current increasing Asian violence against the senior population.
The only program that I've gotten to sort of see to fruition is the Senior Escort Program. And so I started here as an intern actually, and that was my project. And so they were just starting to work with several different organizations in the area that you're probably familiar with, like the JACL, the Asian Buddhist Association, the Paratransit Inc., Doris Matsui's office, the Sacramento Police Department, a lot of different organizations. So I would say that's where it started. So it included a lot of collaboration from community partners in the area. And it actually started from one volunteer from the ABA coming to us and saying, we need to do something about this. And I think ACC is an organization that can really help us see it and create something from it. So after lots of collaborative meetings, what we did was sort of do a survey in the area of people who are seniors and who are in the population that we were directly wanting to serve. So definitely the Asian American seniors, especially in this area. And so what we found is that a lot of times, especially with our population, and as I'm sure you guys have seen as well, there's not a lot of people that are reaching out and asking for help, or they don't feel comfortable asking for help. There's sort of a stigma that everything's okay, I don't want to bother you, things like that. So I think it can be sort of difficult to find programming in exactly what people are looking for or need in the community. And so it's sort of a trial and error, but we really wanted to address a need, even if we're not hearing people ask for it. You know, with the anti-Asian hate violence and incidences, there's data that it rose exponentially over the last year or so. And that's without the possibility that there's a lot of people who didn't report too. And so it's sort of the same thing around here. We might not get reports, we might not get people asking for it, but we did a soft launch of the program and had a lot of our collaborative members reach out to volunteers and you know, sort of just that old-fashioned grassroots effort of getting people to help. And so we had people that volunteered to go on walks with seniors who wanted to go out but didn't feel quite as comfortable without a volunteer. And then so slowly it just sort of picked up momentum and we got more participants, more volunteers. And so we're finding more seniors that really could benefit from it.
In addition to their nursing, critical care, and independent living facilities, ACC has opened up Maple Tree Village, an assisted living and memory care facility.
It's a 99-unit assisted living. We have 30 units of that is memory care, and then 69 is assisted living. So we opened January 2020. And then the pandemic hit in March, pretty much things started shutting down, and so the timing wasn't the best, but we had completed the building, we were planning, we did an appreciation event, and then we were going to plan a grand opening, and then we couldn't do that. So we had moved in, probably about maybe 20 residents had moved in, and it just stayed like that because we couldn't accept any new people because of what the public health had put out. So we just kind of stayed at that for almost a year, and so now we've opened up. We're doing marketing to try to get our census back up because it stayed pretty steady because we couldn't accept new residents.
Emerging out of the pandemic has not been easy. Like many organizations, ACC has been challenged to figure out how to reestablish services prior to the pandemic. Both Jean and Jerry share their thoughts on ACC's challenges.
Staffing our facilities has been a big challenge since the pandemic, where people were not wanting to work in the service anymore, and then it's the salaries, so it's being competitive. So we have to be competitive with a minimum wage, and so we had to be cognizant of that. And then it's so competitive in the other service industries that our challenge still is having enough staff and the wages that we've continue to have to be competitive. We have to increase wages. That's pretty much the biggest challenge we have right now.
But we are doing, I have to say, we're doing this without our volunteers. So for a long time during the phase of the pandemic, we didn't have any volunteers because our volunteers, again, were also in the high-risk category because many of them are retirees, they're older. And so while in the pre-pandemic area, we had lots of volunteer drivers that helped to provide rides. After the pandemic started, it really fell on the staff to take on all the extra responsibilities. And we are just now, actually this month, welcoming back some of our volunteers who feel comfortable again to be out and about and be, interacting with a lot of different people.
Despite the challenges, Jean points to a positive and fruitful future for ACC.
The staff here work hard. They're very connected to the community. The volunteers here volunteer. They give a lot of their time and they give back to the community. And we're seeing that with our 50th anniversary. We're having our gala. We have over 200 people participating, and it's a big year for us, but it's just where this community really comes together. So really that's what ACC is about, it's family.
Family indeed. This is Greg Valoria for Tomo Hirai for the Nichi Bei Cafe.
It's time for dessert. Ryan, did you know?
Honestly, probably not.
That kabocha is packed with nutrients that are related to preventing diabetes, boosting the immune system, preventing cancer, treating inflammation, and promoting heart health.
Wow.
Namiko Chen of Just One Cookbook will introduce you to Kabocha pork stir fry.
Itadakimasu.
Thank you, Namiko, for your delicious recipe.
Next up, paying homage to a staple in our Japanese diets, we honor daikon. Daikon is a very low-calorie vegetable, yet has an impressive nutrient profile as an excellent source of calcium, magnesium, potassium, and copper. Still, it is very high in vitamin C and folate. And although you can't eat this one, Japantown origami expert Linda Mihara shows you how to fold an origami daikon.
Hi, I'm Linda Mihara, and I do a column for the Nichi Bei Weekly called Origami Now. And in today's episode, I'm going to show you how to do a two-piece daikon, origami daikon. So what you need are 2 sheets of paper, 1 sheet of white, and 1 sheet of green for the greens. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the daikon part first. You want to take your paper, and if it's origami paper, it should be white on both sides, which is fine. So if you don't, and it has color on the other side, make sure that the white side is face up for this maneuver. So the white side is face up. We want to fold it in half into a triangle. So let's go ahead and line up our points. Hold it in place with one finger and pull straight down the middle with the other, and then fold it to the right and left, just like this. Now you're going to unfold it. You have a nice fold line that goes right down the middle that you see here. We're going to take one point here along this line, and we're just going to fold it up a little bit. And you want to make sure that this point lines up with this center crease going here. Just folding it up a little bit like that. That's the bottom part of the daikon. Now we're going to take this edge here, and we're going to fold it in to line up with the center crease here. And it's going to look just like this. So you'll have a little open space down here, and this edge should line up with the middle just like you see it here. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. So again, it's this edge here. We're going to fold it up to meet the center, just like this, and make your crease. So it should look just like this, and you do have that little triangle that's exposed down there. Now what you're going to do is take this point, and we're going to bring it to the center here, and it will be right where the end of these flaps are and where they intersect with the center crease here. So we're going to take that and bring it over, and then just go ahead and make your crease. So you see how that point lines up right here in the middle. And let's go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So this point is going to go in. It's right along that edge where that meets the center, like this. So we've got a nice shape of the daikon starting to happen. So now we're going to take this top part here, this point, and we're just going to fold it down, and it should fit right inside this section in here. Just like that. Fold it down. So it'll look just like this. Now we're just going to do a little bit of shaping. We're going to take these 2 corners and fold it in slightly at an angle. This is the top part of the daikon. We're just going to fold it in. I'm going to fold it in just a little bit like this, and match the other side. So you see it doesn't come in all the way. It does, there's a little space just like that, but it's approximate, like that. So now we're done with the daikon. See, it's a nice shape there. And let's go ahead and work on the greens. So we have our green sheet of origami paper. Let's go ahead and turn it over so that the green side is face down. And let's go ahead and fold it into a triangle. So let's hold the points together, line it up, hold it in place, pull straight down the middle, fold it to the right and left. So now you have a nice triangle like this. I'm going to rotate it around, so this is how you should be looking at it. We're going to take this point and bring it up to the top corner, just like this, and make your crease like that. And the same for the other point. We're going to bring that up to the top of the triangle, and then fold that in place. So now you have this. Now we have these 2 flaps up in here that we're going to work with. We're going to take this edge here, and we're going to line it up with this outer edge here, and it starts here, so it's going to come to a point. So we're going to take that edge and we're going to bring it out to meet the outside, just like that. So it will come to a point right here. And the same for this other flap. So let's go ahead and take this. We're going to fold it out so that that edge meets the outer edge of that square. So you should get this type of shape. So after you have that, let's turn it over to the back side. And let's go ahead and fold the whole thing in half. So we're going to go ahead and take this and bring your points together by folding it in half like this. So it should come to a point down here. And then now the final step is to take 2 layers. You have 2 layers up in here. You have this flap and this flap. And what we're going to do is fold it in half right through this section here. So we're just going to take that and fold it in half so that outer edge meets this edge here. So we're folding that in half, just like that. And that's it. So we're going to turn it over, and now we're going to take our daikon, and behind the daikon you'll see there's a little pocket. These 2 flaps actually kind of make a pocket, and that's what the greens fit into. So from the front it looks like that. So you can go ahead and use a little piece of tape and tape that in there, and now you have a really cool no-calorie daikon radish. For more fun things to fold, you can take a look at the YouTube channel that we have for Paper Tree, which is Paper Tree SF on the YouTube channel, as well as the other items that I've done for Nichi Bei Weekly on the Nichi Bei Weekly YouTube channel, which is Nichi Bei Foundation. Happy folding, and thanks for joining me.
Don't forget to eat your daikon, everyone. A big thanks to Linda for teaching us how to fold the origami daikon.
It's my favorite time of night, Ryan. Time for the nightcap. This month we bring back the Gochiso Gourmet, Ryan Tatsumoto from Kaneohe, Hawaii, who will be teaching us how to make a cocktail which he calls the Lychee-lani. Let's check it out.
Hi, it's Ryan Tatsumoto, the Gochiso Gourmet, with another cocktail session where it's always 5 p.m. Today's cocktail I call the Lychee-lani. I named it after a friend after she had a momentous appointment. She and her husband used to be lawyers in private practice, and several years ago she was appointed to the family court as a family court judge on the Big Island of Hawaii. She always sent us lychee, so I decided to make a lychee-forward cocktail in her honor. It's kind of funny, once she got the job too, instead of addressing her by her given name, I would always address her as Your Honor. And I think she kind of liked that too. Anyway, it starts with lychee liqueur. This is Soho lychee liqueur, which is, it was surprising that it's made in France. I didn't know if the French actually grow lychee. It's not the easiest to find. Before I could find it at most liquor stores in Hawaii, but I had to make several stops before I could find a bottle. If you can't find it in your neck of the woods, you can use the Takara lychee infused sake. I'm sure you can find that in the Bay Area, since Takara, I believe, is based out of Berkeley. We start off with just a ½ ounce of this. Next, I'm going to add 3/4 ounce of limoncello. The citrus flavor, the lemon, kind of breaks up the richness of the lychee. Three-quarter ounce of elderflower liqueur. I'm using the Saint Germain brand, but elderflower liqueur is available generically, so you can find many house brands that aren't as expensive if you don't want to spend the extra money for the Saint Germain. Basically, elderflower liqueur has that honeysuckle aroma, kind of a lychee flavor, very floral. 3/4 ounces. And finally, 1 ounce of Kai lychee infused vodka. This product is actually created in Hawaii. The owner actually goes to Vietnam to get this yellow rice, which is the base to create the vodka itself. I believe it won several awards in the Bay Area as far as infused lychee during a competition. And I'm going to pour this in my cocktail shaker. This cocktail shaker is actually created by Elevated Craft. The owner, Adam Craft, started it with crowdfunding. I saw it on Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I spent my money ahead of time, ordered 2 of these. The beauty of these shakers is they're double-walled, vacuum insulated, so number one, there's no condensation. Your hand's not gonna freeze when you're shaking a cocktail. It actually holds a whole 750 ml, so you can actually use it like a hydro flask. Say you're going to a party or a picnic and you wanna take a bottle of wine, don't wanna lug the wine itself. You can pour white wine in here and it'll keep it chilled, you know, throughout the whole evening. And finally, there's a little mixing cup right in the top section, so you don't have to bring a separate jigger. Plus it also twists closed. I'm not sure if you've ever used the cocktail shaker before. Once you start shaking the cocktail and it starts getting cold, sometimes it's kind of a bear getting that cap off. You gotta like whack it a couple times before it'll get off. This just unscrews. I'm gonna shake this for about 10-15 seconds. And because this cocktail was created in honor of a family court judge, I'm using a slightly fancier glass, a coupe. And I'll garnish it with a little lychee. I normally would use fresh lychee in Hawaii. Kaimana lychee from the Big Island is a great product, but it's not in season. It goes into season, gets into season about summertime. So unfortunately, this is canned lychee. So again, I'm the Gochiso Gourmet, and this is the Lychee-lani. Kampai!
For the tips today, we will list all of the events for the fall.
But first, we would like to thank everyone for continuing to support our YouTube channel.
And if you're enjoying what we're doing here at the cafe, please be sure to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button for more content just like this. And also feel free to leave us a comment or message on Facebook if you have any suggestions for future episodes or just want to say hi.
Now onto the listing of events. Thank you for joining us for the 9th episode of the Nichi Bei Cafe, and thank you for allowing me to be your co-host. We hope that you enjoyed our show and will come back to hang out with us at the next cafe. Next month will be all about shopping.
Awesome. And as always, we'd like to give a big thanks to the Henry and Tomoya Takahashi Charitable Foundation for their very generous support of the Nichi Bei Cafe. We greatly appreciate our collaboration with you in finding new ways to engage with our community during this pandemic.
In this episode, we focused on health and wellness, and we hope you learned a lot about this contemporary topic. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks again for joining us at the Nichi Bei Cafe.